Hi, this is Heidi here, and I wanted to share with you the story behind the story of Peter and the Owl. So, it was about 3 years ago that my family and I were living on the Hawaiian island Kauai, and we lived on the North Shore. And Jonathan and I, my husband and I, we wanted to renew our wedding vows on top of the Anahola Mountains. On top of the peak is called Kalalea. And these mountains they belong to the native Hawaiian people, and so I wanted to ask permission from the mountains to be able to hike through there and have that ceremony on top. And so I drove back around to the trailhead, and I ended up hiking out to this ridge, kind of this lookout, where I sat down, and the view was of the whole valley leading out to the Pacific Ocean, and I could see the whales spouting out in the ocean. Yeah, it was incredible. And so I asked the mountains permission, and the answer I got was yes. and and in that space of listening, um, I I felt this presence of this boy come and sit down next to me, beside me on the ridge, and I felt him start to whisper his story to me a little bit, and in that moment I received sort of this idea, this information about a series of children's books that I could write and illustrate about children that are struggling with something in their life. They've each got a challenge, and they end up meeting an animal in nature that helps them learn to deal with that challenge. And so Peter and the Owl was the first. Those were those words that kind of came through that day on the ridge. And yeah, and so Peter whispered his story to me, and I brought that home with me when we moved back here, back to Wisconsin. This is the view from our ridge, very very different from the view of the Pacific Ocean that day. But when we moved back here, I spent that first summer writing the book and then illustrating it. And I will share more about the story of actually making the book in the next video.